Welcome everybody. I'm the air quotes comedian, a man so far to the left that he doesn't know what's right anymore. And this is the Polemics podcast. Welcome. When Tronald Diaper Don Dump caught the COVID-19 virus, I said on the social media, good, I hope it fucking kills him. That's the sort of reactionary knee-jerk response one has when one doesn't tend to think things through, because, let's face it, if the Vice President had taken over, then basically we'd be living in an oppressive authoritarian Christian theocracy, even more so than we do now. Anyway, all of that is beside the point. One response I saw to my joyous celebration of Tronald, that rug isn't fooling anybody, dumps misfortune, was a response that simply stated, so much for the tolerant left. I have no fucking clue where this idea came from that the left should be tolerant of anything that doesn't align with our outlook, right? Can't we all get along is a mantra I often hear from mealy-mouthed fuckwits who don't seem to understand that, no, in fact you can't just get along with fucking neo-Nazis and the like, because they are more than willing to take advantage of big-hearted, doe-eyed, ineffectual idiots who believe that if they could just have a sit-down with Hitler, they could persuade him to maybe stop his omnicide over beer and schnitzels. Look, I can't say it's absolutely fine to punch Nazis in their goddamn faces, right? YouTube community standards and all that. But if it's good enough for Captain America, suffice to say, I have Richard Spencer being sucker punched by an Antifa playing on a loop on every screen in our house. Being militant is part of being on the left. What, you think those communist revolutions were fought by soft-spoken bunny rabbits who used Nerf guns to avoid injuring their enemies? Hell fucking no. I mean, those things hadn't been invented yet. Bunny rabbits. I don't know how anybody could conceive that I would be tolerant of ignorant bigots like the TERFs. That stands for Transgender Exclusionary Radical Feminists, or SWERFs, which stands for Sex Worker Exclusionary Radical Feminists. Bloody swerf and turf, an entree of unappetizing hatred promulgated by cunts who got out of bed on the wrong side of history. Oh, but Patrick, I hear the gaggle of pandering pricks say, we should educate these people and make them see the errors of their ways. To which I say, fair enough. See, I think that this idea that the left is tolerant to the point of being utterly fluffy came from our progressiveness. Generally speaking, we are inclusive and seek solidarity. We celebrate diversity and do our utmost to fight oppression that stems from those in power. Christian fucking conservatives can whine about being persecuted all they want, but it's not persecution when we call them out for their hatred and bigotry, especially when they do society harm by voting in the worst humanity has to offer, and to have the worst that humanity has to offer bending over backwards like some demented limbo dancer to secure their vote. In some parts of the world, Christians really are being persecuted biblical style, and I for one am not celebrating their fate. Baking a cake for a gay couple hardly compares to being rounded up and shot in the head for your erroneous belief in Christ, does it? Christian bakers represent the powerful majority in the USA, while gay people who enjoy cake do not. We can't be inclusive to intolerance, can we? So we wind up with the paradox of being intolerant of the intolerant. And it's not just conservatives that fly the flag of discrimination, is it? Okay, so TERFs, that's transgender exclusionary radical feminists, don't begin and end with joke rolling. Some lesbians also subscribe to this bigotry. You would think, wouldn't you, that after being on the receiving end of a double whammy like the patriarchy and homophobia, these people might be a little more tolerant. But oh no, let's be super gay, which basically amounts to not recognising transgender women as women, or as it's otherwise known, trans fucking phobia. Trans fucking... It's bloody wasted on you, isn't it? That's like the best joke I've ever written. I really don't know why I bother. I don't know, maybe they're a bit like the Israelis. I mean, who has been more persecuted than the Jews, right? But looking at Israel, it's like we've learned fuck all from our own history and now it's our turn to do some oppressing and persecution and outright crimes against humanity. Okay, I get it. Not all oppressed groups are going to hold progressive values, which kind of put the kibosh on solidarity, doesn't it? Hey, I'm not down in the mouth about this though, I'm optimistic. I do want to emphasise one more thing. Intolerance from the left doesn't have to mean naked hatred. We should confront and abolish all forms of bigotry, no matter where it comes from, because we are not wrong to be intolerant of it. So when somebody says to you, so much for the tolerant left, you can hold your head up high and tell them everything I just said verbatim. You might want to write it out on a little card that you can keep in your wallet.